In this video, I'll be showing you how to use the keyword section inside our Google Ads research spreadsheet in order to actively track new keywords when creating a new campaign and decide what keywords you should use in your ad groups at the start of a campaign. One thing to keep in mind is you're going to want to do this keyword research for every single ad group that you create. So you'll need to create copies of this spreadsheet for every ad group that you create, or you can simply come down here and click this drop down menu and duplicate these tabs in order to create new spreadsheets in order to track your keywords for different ad groups. So in this example, we're going to do this for a skydiving company. I'm going to do an example keyword and show you how to find all of this information for each keyword that you are looking to put into your ad groups. So to get started, we're obviously going to want to choose a keyword to start our research. And the way you would do this is by going to SEMrush. If you do not currently have a SEMrush account, you can create a free trial account, which will allow you to access it for a week or two. Then you'll obviously have to upgrade to a paid version, but if you're just creating one campaign, a free version should be good enough to get you through until your campaign is created. But once we are in SEMrush, we'll want to go to the SEO dashboard by clicking this right here. Once we are inside here, we're going to go to domain overview. From here, we are going to copy our domain, paste it into here, click search. One thing to keep in mind is we want to make it as specific of locations as possible. So worldwide obviously doesn't make as much sense. So we're going to go and click on US. And then we're going to scroll down and find some of the top keywords that they are showing for. So the one that I always recommend is for any ad group that you are trying to create, find one of their top organic keywords for that ad group and start from there. So as we can see here, skydiving has a huge volume. So we are actually going to start with this skydiving keyword. So we will copy skydiving, go to our keyword section and paste it in. You don't necessarily have to paste it in, you can type it in, but just easier that way. So from here, now that we have the keyword that we want to go after, we're going to go back and find the information that we're looking for. So first off, we can see here that the position is 8. So we're going to put position 8 right here. We can see that the volume is 49.5 thousand or 49,500. So we'll type that in here. Then to find the traffic percentage, this is simply the traffic percentage that our website traffic is derived from. So essentially, skydiving is generating 12.4% of our overall website traffic organically. So we'll put in 12.4. Then this PKD percentage is going to be in a different section. We're going to find that by going to advertising. We're going to click on keyword magic tool. From here, we're going to paste in our keyword, and we are going to paste in our company domain. Click search. And it will generate all the information that we need. This is also where you can find a lot of the information we just found right here, such as volume and traffic percentage. Sorry, not traffic percentage, cost per click. That way you don't have to go searching around in multiple places to find all of that information. But once we get this screen showing, we're going to put in the information that we find. So we're going to go down and find skydiving. So as we can see here, the PKD, this basically is the personal keyword difficulty, which just shows how difficult it will be for our website to rank naturally for these keywords. And this plays a role slightly in the performance of our ads, because obviously some of our ad performance plays off of how well our website performs for each keyword that shows. So having a lower PKD is always going to be better. So once we have this information, we're going to go back over and put it into our spreadsheet. We're going to go and find our cost per click, 1.09. And we're trying to make sure this is in dollars. Whoa, 1.09. There we go. And final thing, we are going to see if it has a commercial tag next to it or a transactional. If it does, we select the box. This basically just means that these keywords are more known for people actually converting and making purchases. So it's always a benefit for that keyword if it is a commercial or transactional keyword. So now that we have the information that we need from SEMrush, in terms of the data, we want to go and find the negative keywords that we might possibly want to worry about at the start of a campaign, because obviously if you use broad match for a any term, you could end up showing for some keywords that you don't necessarily want to show up for. And specifically in certain ad groups, you might not want to show up for some keywords in that ad group, but you might want to show your ads to that same demographic in a different ad group, and you want to keep them separate. This just allows us to have a higher level of control over who sees our ads. So in order to find the negative keywords, we're going to go to the keyword strategy builder. From here, once this loads in, we're just going to type in the keyword that we want to use. Obviously, we're using skydiving in this case. We already have skydiving pulled up here, but you would just click that green button, create list, and it would generate this. It sometimes can take a few minutes, so just give it a moment. So once we get that set up, we're going to want to come down and look through the different subpages of topics that our keyword could show to, because obviously we need to find if there's any keywords that we don't actually want to show for. So one thing right off the bat that we're seeing, this is obviously going to vary industry by industry. Some people or some industries and businesses are going to want to show for different keywords based on the needs of their business and the services that they offer. So in this case, in this example for this business, they offer tandem parachute jumps. They do offer solo parachute jumps, but in this ad group, we're only wanting to show for tandem parachutes. So obviously, people who are looking for solo parachute jumps or solo skydiving, we don't want to show this ad to. So we can see that in the subpage, this obviously refers to solo parachute jumpers. And we're going to go ahead and click this drop-down menu and just review all of these keywords to make sure that they all still line up with the keyword that shows up top. So one thing that we can see right here is that this one mentions tandem skydiving. And so we obviously don't want to eliminate somebody who's searching up tandem skydiving from our search terms. So we'll come over here and click delete to remove it from this list. And then once we go through and just do a brief check, we can see that all of the other keywords relate to solo parachuting. So from here, we're going to click this check box right here. Then we're going to come up and click export. From here, we're going to export this. You can export it in an Excel file or CSV file, whichever one you prefer. But essentially what this is doing is this is just going to create a Excel file with all of these keywords in it, so that way we can easily copy and paste it into Google Ads. Once we have our ad group set up, we can copy and paste all those keywords into the negative keyword section, and from there, Google will no longer show our ads to these specific people searching up these search terms. So click Excel file, it'll download, and from here, once it downloads, we'll come down here, open the download, obviously, and then we are going to copy the keywords that it gives us. Then we are going to go back to our Google Ads account, and we're just going to paste them in right here. It doesn't have to line up with all the keywords because all of these negative keywords are going to go into the ad group. It doesn't necessarily have to line up exactly with this specific keyword, because these negative keywords will apply to every single keyword that shows in this ad group. Another thing to mention is that if you go through and you find multiple subsections that you want to add to your negative keyword list, like if we come down here and we see, for example, we found one like infant skydiving. Obviously, we don't want to show our ads to people who want to throw their children out of planes. That doesn't seem like a great business idea. So obviously, we want to check this one. And then if we scroll down, we can see indoor skydiving. We don't want to show for anybody talking about indoor skydiving because we could potentially have another ad group that is dealing with indirect competitors. Our ad group will specifically be dealing with people who are just looking to skydive directly. Obviously, this will vary business to business. Sometimes businesses who have smaller budgets may not be able to split up their budget between multiple ad groups, so they really just need to show to everybody. But if you do have the budget to split between showing to both people who have shopped with you before, people who are looking at your indirect competitors, people who are looking for services with your direct competitors. Obviously, the more niche you can make your ad groups, the more specifically you can make your ad headlines, and the more specific your ad groups will be as a whole. But obviously, we've got other videos discussing how to divvy up your ad groups and how to make sure that your ads are performing at as high a rate as possible, so be sure to go check out those other videos. But essentially, that's just how you would go in and add more negative keywords to your export. So from there, now that we have all of our negative keywords that we want to include, we are going to go to Keyword Planner. So this is going to be in Google Ads, it's going to be in the Tools section, and then it's going to be in the Keyword section. We're just going to type in skydiving, and then we are going to want to choose the region that we are going after. So in this case, it'll be Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. Nope, not Georgia the country. Sorry. We want to go after Georgia the state. So now we have all of those locations. We're going to click Save, and from here we're going to get results. One thing to keep in mind, if you were going after a relatively small section, so let's say we were just going after a suburb in Nashville, Tennessee, that's not going to get us enough data in order for us to make accurate assessments of how good keywords are going to be. So the minimum size you want to use is typically a DMA region, which is just a large region around a major city. And I can show you exactly what that is. So if we go back in and we type in skydiving, and we want to go after a smaller city in, say, a suburb in Nashville, we wouldn't just want to type in, say, Franklin, Tennessee, because you can see this only has 300,000 people. We need several million for it to be helpful, because we need lots of searches. So what we would type in is we would go Nashville, because that's the closest major city, and then we're going to go to the DMA region. So as you can see here, it includes a much wider radius, but of people in that relative area. So that way we can get a better sense of how keywords are going to perform in this region. But in this case, we are just going to use the states. So get results. And from here, we can scroll down. This is also another way you can find other keyword ideas to test out and add to your list, is by using this keyword builder. You can come in here and see the keyword ideas. I like to filter by average monthly searches because obviously we want to go after searches that have the highest volume. One thing to point out is that if they have very similar graphs, it means they all show for the same keyword. So if I say was showing for skydiving as a broad match keyword, I would not need to also have skydiving. Actually, no, I would still need skydiving near me, but I would not need skydive, because as you can see right here, this graph is exactly the same as this graph, which means they show up for the exact same keyword. So when somebody, if you put skydiving inside your ad group, it will show up for both skydiving and skydive. Another example would be if I put parachuting near me, I would not also need to put parachute jump near me, airplane jumping near me, or skydive near me, because as you can see, their graphs are all the same. So just one of these words will do. So as we can see here, the next keyword that we'd probably want to try is skydiving near me, and then we would skip all of these, go down to the next one. If we were wanting to show for indoor skydiving, we could add that as one of our keywords. But the next one up would probably be Atlanta skydiving as one of our keywords to try. But this is a whole separate problem to deal with when it comes to actually generating more keyword ideas. I'm just showing you how to fill out our spreadsheet appropriately. So once we have skydiving typed in, we can now see that its average monthly searches is 6,600 according to Google. And the reason we put this in and compare it with this volume is because obviously Google is probably going to be a tad bit more accurate in terms of the search terms, or the average monthly searches is going to be a little bit more accurate than what SEMrush gives us, because Google has a lot more data to access in terms of how skydiving, the keyword, is performing. Another thing to keep in mind when you're creating your campaigns is to watch this chart to see when the peak times are for campaigns and when the downtimes for campaigns are related to specific keywords. Because obviously, as you can see here, there's some dip off in the November, especially in November. It kind of gets back up outside of November if it would stop glitching on me. But you get the general idea. You want to be aware of the negative aspects of your keywords, so that way you can manage your campaigns around them, and you can be expecting drop-offs in performance for specific keywords based on when their possible downtimes might be. So that way, if you have some keywords that perform better over the summer and some that perform better over the winter, you can be ready to adjust your campaigns accordingly. So as we can see here, when we open this up, we can see that there's downtime in November, and then we typically are peaking in the July and August. If we come over here, this is going to line up with July, but so we'll come back to our spreadsheet. We can see the peak months are going to be July, August, and then the valley months are going to be November. So that's pretty much that's the lowest time we ever need to worry about. Obviously, it kind of averages out around here, and for some reason there's a glitch going on with my computer, but we can clearly see that October and whatever month this is going to be, so that would be December, January, this is February. We can see that those are the second lowest, but they're not nearly as low as November, so we won't worry about those as much. So we'll put November in here. And the final piece of this that we need to keep track of is the average of these two numbers. So essentially all we're going to do is get your phone calculator out. We're going to put in 3.31 plus 0.31, add those together, then we're going to divide them by 2, and we get 181. And all we're going to do is put 181 right there, and now we have all the data that we need on this keyword. I know this is a long video. Obviously, this is just me making sure that you have as much information as possible on how to fill out this spreadsheet accordingly. Once you start doing more keywords, the process will get infinitely faster, and you'll be able to make your decisions on what keywords you want to use a lot quicker. So to sum up what all of these numbers mean, essentially the most important numbers out of all these is going to be our average monthly searches and our cost per click. So we have our volume here and our cost per click here, and then we have our cost per click here, and then we also have our volume here as well. And so you don't want to compare this volume to this volume. Once we put in more keywords here, we would want to compare what has the highest number of monthly searches, what has the lowest or average cost per click, because obviously some of the average monthly searches that are going to be higher are also going to have a little bit higher cost per click. But as long as it's not completely unreasonable and outside of the ordinary, we still want to go after it, because obviously we want to go after what most people are searching. But I will make a separate video explaining how to choose which keywords go into your ad groups and which ones you should leave out. So make sure to go and watch that additional video. But hopefully this helps you understand how to use our Google Ads research template, and hopefully we can help you create an amazing Google Ads campaign. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.